Please subscribe and like the video. Which random stranger do you still remember, and why? The old man using the urinal next to mine in a dentist bathroom and said to me, it makes the bladder gladder. This happened over the recent holiday season. I was in a restaurant and was alone using the men's room. There were 3 urinals and I'm using the one furthest right. This guy comes in, steps up beside me and uses the middle urinal. I'm thinking to myself, he clearly has no washroom etiquette. I had no idea how right I was. After he starts peeing, he makes a show of stretching both arms up in the air above his head. Yes, he is stretching at the urinal. His willy is just dangling and spraying wild. Crazy, right? He then brings down his arms, resting both hands in his pockets, takes a half step back from the urinal and leans backwards. His crotch must be 1.5 feet away from the urinal now, and his dick is just doing its thing. Super fucking weird, right? Right. That is when he let out a huge fart, sighed loudly, and says that's the stuff. I just finished up peeing, washed my hands and left. A customer at work a few years ago. I was 19, and it was around 11 PM on a close shift when I cut myself very badly on a deli slicer. A lady walked up to buy something, and there I was freaking out and bleeding everywhere. Turns out she was a nurse, and she dropped everything to come behind the counter to patch me up. She was so lovely. Not only did she help me, but she also made a point to the company that there should be a qualified first aider on at all time. Thanks to her, they did just that. In 1988 I was working the lunch rush for the first time, and it was fucking slammed. This guy finally makes it up to the register. I do the greeting and he says, "What does it mean when all the cows in a field are laying down?" I look at him like he has 2 heads and ask what he wants to order. Undeterred, he says, "It means it's going to rain." What does it mean when all the cows in a field are standing up? I don't know. I look to my coworkers for help, but they are studiously ignoring my plight. He forges ahead. "It means it's not going to rain." What does it mean when some of the cows are standing up and some of them are laying down? Does he want a burger? Is this his way of asking for the combo meal? "It means it's going to be partly cowdy." He turns and leaves. Mission complete. This dude stood in line for 20 minutes just to tell me a joke. It's been over 30 years, and I still think about him literally every time I see a cow. When I was about 3 years old, I got separated from my family in a very large mall. I was terrified. This really nice man in a suit found me and took me to guest services, reassuring me that my mom would find me there. Then, to cheer me up, he pulled a balloon out of his briefcase and made a balloon animal. He left before my folks found me, but I've never forgotten him. Wherever he is, I hope he's well. I was 36 hours away from leaving a very toxic relationship forever, and I was picking up a few items at the local convenience store near my house. A woman whom I've never seen before in my life walked in, looked at me, and it was like she stared into my soul. English was a second language, and she was visibly intoxicated. She walks up to me and gets pretty close to my face, then asked me, "Are you okay?" I said yes, and went about my business. She gently grabbed my wrist and looked into my eyes a second time and suddenly appeared quite sober. She said, "I'm serious. I see you. You're not okay. You must go. You know this." I played it off and thanked her for her concern and let her know that everything was fine. She kept trying to give me her phone number, but the shopkeeper waved her off. I found out later that night that she's a domestic violence advocate/lawyer. How she knew, I'll never know. What made this even more complex and weird is that my soon-to-be ex was standing within earshot, and I had to be very careful/play stupid in case he figured out that I really was planning to leave. Thankfully, he was talking with someone else and didn't overhear what she said. We just played her off as a drunk/crazy woman, but that wasn't the case at all. I was on a plane and out of the country the next morning. I was working at a subway station and my foreman was on the other side of the tracks. He was trying to tell me where to install the new speaker and at which angles. Anyway, he kept doing grand hand gestures and noticed a couple behind him imitating him. So I pretended to play stupid and did the YMCA dance while asking questions. The couple behind him started doing it along with me. Great moment. I was playing laser tag one time and I accidentally tripped and twisted my ankle. It hurt so bad that I struggled to get up. A guy who was playing laser tag with me saw me and asked if I was okay. I told him what happened and he helped me up and out of the laser tag arena and into the main lobby. He even told an employee what happened and the employee got me an ice pack for my ankle. I still remember that stranger because it was such a nice thing he did for me. Whenever I go to the airport, I think about that one girl I met when I was like 4 in Miami. She spoke Spanish and back then I only spoke French. Yet we managed to become BFF in a matter of minutes. She was so damn generous with all her toys and she drew me a picture as a parting gift. She was so nice. I wonder who she's become. I was living in a big city in my early 20s. I had just left work and it was late, maybe 10:30 p.m. I bought a 6-pack of beer and was smoking outside of my apartment building. A homeless looking guy came up and asked to borrow my lighter. I stood up and handed it to him. He then asked if I wanted to go smoke a joint in the alley with him around the corner. I said no, thanks, keep the lighter. He then walks closer to me, like 6 inches from my face, and said I'm coming into the alley with him. I'm a 5 feet 5 inch female, probably 120 pounds at the time. He wasn't much bigger than me, but I don't know how to fight. I said no again, and he then started looking around for witnesses, maybe IDK. I then say loudly, get away from me now. He grabs my arm at the exact moment a big burly dude walks past us. Burly man asks me if everything is okay, and I promptly say no. He turned to the drug dude and said, get the fuck out of here before you regret it. Man turns to me and said, do you live here? Get your ass inside. I ran inside with my beer and tried to peek around the corner to see what he was doing. I saw him walk past like 5 minutes later. I didn't go back outside to see what happened. I mean, I got pretty lucky and I wasn't going to push it. I yelled thank you through the glass door, but he didn't respond. Big burly dude, if you remember saving a little 20-year-old under the monorail in 2009. Thank you. I don't know what would have happened without your help. A one-armed man that helped me out of a stupid situation in Iowa. It was my first time driving alone, and I had to drive from Central Florida to Altoona, Iowa. I got to the area, but my GPS has me go along one of those shitty dirt roads that run parallel to the highway, and it had been raining. The GPS says I'm at my hotel like 1.5 miles down said road, and there's obviously nothing there. Fuck. So I see how shitty the road is and keep following it because I'm in a Sprinter van and the road is too narrow to turn around. Never mind getting stuck in the mud. Well, I get to the top of a hill, see lots of gravel in the road, and it widens, and I have absolutely no clue how long this road is or where it goes. Fuck it, here I go. I got about halfway through my little 3-point turn. Boom, stuck. Well, headlights come up this road, and I'm super embarrassed, but also determined to get myself out of it. So I wave for the vehicle to pass me. It's a big ass lifted truck. He stops and hops out. Man has one arm and is looking at me like I just told him the world is flat. He just whips out a big ass chain and hooks it up to my van. Didn't really let me help. The whole time he was talking shit, can't believe you try to turn around here after it's been raining all day. Stuff like that. 100% justified. And I'm obviously not mad at all. He yanks the van out with his truck pretty effortless, and as he's undoing the chain I try to hand him $300 cash I had in case the company gas card wasn't working. He refuses, doesn't say another word, and just leaves. TLDR, a one-armed man begrudgingly pulled my vehicle out of the mud. Please subscribe and like the video.